You are the last person on Earth the moment you realize it, not the moment it happens. The moment it happens, you're too busy. There's noise and confusion and things that need doing, and your brain is very good at staying inside the immediate problem. It's later, when the noise stops, that the understanding arrives. And it arrives the way cold water does, all at once, everywhere. You find out on a Tuesday, not through any dramatic announcement. The radio just stops having voices. The phones stop connecting to anything that talks back. You drive to the gas station and the lights are on, but the doors are locked, and there is nobody inside, and the silence sitting on top of that parking lot is the wrong kind of silence, the kind that has weight. You go home. You wait. You tell yourself there is an explanation. Your brain is very committed to explanations. There isn't one. The first week is logistics. You are surprised by this. You expected grief. What you get instead is a checklist: food, water, power, heat. Your mind locks onto problems because problems are solvable, and the alternative, the thing waiting underneath the logistics, is not. You raid the grocery store. You fill every container you can find with water. You read the manual for the generator you found in someone's garage, and you feel briefly, absurdly proud when it starts. You are so busy surviving that you almost forget what you're surviving into. Almost. Week 2, the dreams start. Everyone you've ever known is in them. They are mundane dreams. Your mother making coffee, a friend laughing at something you can't hear. Your brain is running its social software with no input to work from, so it manufactures input from memory. You wake up and the silence is there waiting, and the gap between the dream and the waking is the worst 30 seconds of every day. You start talking to yourself, not because you've lost your mind, because you are a social animal and your nervous system was built for voices, and your body is producing a stress response to their absence the same way it would produce one to hunger or cold. Loneliness is not an emotion. It is a biological alarm. It is your body telling you that something necessary for survival is missing. Your body is correct. By the end of the first month, your sleep is destroyed. You wake at 3 a.m. for no reason and lie there listening to a world that should have sound and doesn't. Your cortisol levels, the hormone your brain releases under threat, have been elevated so consistently that your body has stopped distinguishing between threat and normal. Everything feels like threat. A sound outside is threat. Silence is threat. Your own heartbeat in the wrong moment is threat. You start leaving the radio on even though it's only static. The static is better than nothing. The static at least sounds like something trying. Month 2. You find a dog. This is not a small thing. You don't have words yet for what this is. The dog is medium-sized and skittish and takes 3 days to let you get close, and when it finally puts its head against your leg, you sit down on the floor and stay there for a long time. Your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical, the same one that fires between parents and children, between people who love each other. Your body does not distinguish between species. It only distinguishes between connection and its absence. You have been in absence for 60 days. The oxytocin hits like a door opening in a sealed room. You name the dog. You talk to it constantly. You explain things to it, the weather, your plans, the books you're reading. The dog doesn't understand any of it, and you are fully aware of this, and you do it anyway, because the sound of your own voice directed at something living is enough. Just barely, but enough. You start keeping a journal, not for posterity. There is no posterity. You keep it because externalizing your thoughts, moving them from inside your skull to outside it, reduces the psychological pressure of carrying them alone. Therapists call this narrative processing. You call it the only thing keeping you from disappearing into yourself entirely. You write about what you miss. Not the big things first, the small things. The sound of a coffee shop, someone walking past you on a sidewalk, the specific feeling of being in a crowd and invisible, and how that used to feel like a burden, and how you would trade almost anything to feel it again. 6 months in, something shifts. You stop waiting for it to end. This is not acceptance. Acceptance sounds peaceful. This is something harder and quieter. Your brain, which has been running on emergency power since the beginning, finally stops expecting rescue and starts building something else instead. Routine, structure, purpose carved from the available materials. You plant a garden, not because you need to yet, but because you need something that requires you tomorrow, something that won't survive without you showing up. You talk to the plants too. The dog judges you for this. You don't care. You watch the seasons change with an attention you never had before. You know every bird that comes through the yard by sight. You learn their patterns. You become, slowly, a person who exists in specific relationship to a specific piece of the world, which is something most people never become because there's always somewhere else to be. There is nowhere else to be. 1 year in. You are different in ways you don't have complete language for. You are more patient. You are more frightened. You are more present in every single moment because the moments are all there is and you have stopped pretending otherwise. You are lonelier than you knew a person could be and still function. You are also, in the particular way of people who have been stripped of everything non-essential, more yourself than you have ever been. You think about the people you loved. You think about them with a clarity that proximity never allowed. You understand things about them now that you couldn't see when they were present. Distance does that. Absence does that. You have all the time in the world and none of the chances, and that specific combination is its own kind of devastation. The dog sleeps at the foot of your bed. You read by candlelight. The stars are different now with no light pollution. You didn't know they could look like this. You didn't know there were this many. You wonder sometimes if this is what it was like before cities, before everything accumulated into the world you were born into. Whether some ancestor of yours sat under this same sky and felt this same specific weight of being the only thinking thing in all that dark. Whether loneliness is not a malfunction but a feature, a reminder of what you need, a signal that never fully switches off because it was never meant to. You are the last person on earth. You wake up every morning anyway. You make coffee. You let the dog out. You check the garden. You write 3 sentences in the journal. You watch the sky go from black to gray to the particular blue that happens just before the sun clears the trees. You have watched this happen over 300 times now, and it still does something to you that you don't have a word for. Maybe that's the thing nobody tells you, that the world doesn't need you in it to be beautiful, that beauty just keeps happening regardless, and that witnessing it, even alone, even with no one to tell, even with the full weight of everything you've lost sitting on your chest like a stone, is still something. It's still something.